From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, October 26th. It's going to be a lot of clouds out there today, but the rain is going to be very light and scattered. You probably won't see any, especially compared to yesterday. Pretty warm, windy. Highs are going to be in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another mild day before a huge cool down for your weekend and next week. And this morning, we have been following the breaking news that has captured the attention of the nation. A massive overnight manhunt. Authorities in Maine are still searching for a mass shooter. Police say a man shot up a bowling alley and a bar and grill, killing at least 22 people. The suspect's name is Robert Card. Investigators say he has a military background and recent mental health issues, including threats of carrying out a mass shooting at a military training base. Card was a firearms instructor for the Army Reserve. Hundreds of law enforcement officers are scouring the city of Lewiston and a nearby town where police found Card's car. Locals are sheltering in place. President Biden and the FBI have pledged federal help. And the restaurant targeted by the mass shooter posted a message of grief on social media overnight. The post from the bar and grill reads, "My heart is crushed. I am at a loss for words. In a split second, your world gets turned upside down for no good reason. We lost great people in this community. How can we make any sense of this?" The shooting started just before 7 last night. Police then took up positions while the city went eerily quiet and people hunkered down at home. Lewiston is regularly ranked as one of America's safest cities, and now authorities want anyone with information about the shootings to call them.
We have literally hundreds of police officers working around the state of Maine to investigate this case, to locate Mr. Card, who again is a person of interest and a person of interest only. And we'll continue to gather information so that we can bring the suspect to justice and ultimately seek prosecution down the road.
Maine government officials are urging people to follow police instruction as they investigate. And the shooting has sparked a large coordinated response from hospitals. At this point, authorities are not giving a firm count of the wounded, but say it's in the dozens. Hospitals more than 30 miles away are ready to take in patients to ease the burden of those closest to the scenes. Schools in the area are also closed today. Students and their families stay inside their homes while authorities search for the shooter. We'll continue to update you on air on Wish TV and always have updates on this at wishtv.com. And new this morning, Israeli troops and tanks have launched an hours-long ground raid in northern Gaza, hitting several militant targets. The Israeli Defense Forces brought in armored vehicles down a road yesterday. Israel claims it is preparing the battlefield ahead of a wider ground invasion. The raid comes after the United Nations warned it cannot deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza today unless fuel is delivered. The UN blames an Israeli blockade and constant airstrikes. Israel says Hamas is holding on to the fuel. Israel says it's carried out about 250 airstrikes across Gaza in the last 24 hours, targeting tunnel shafts and rocket launchers. The Hamas-run health ministry says those airstrikes have killed more than 750 people. Israel says its attacks have only killed militants and destroyed military targets. Indiana Congressman Rudy Yoakum says there is no equivocation between Hamas attacks and Israel's right to defend itself. He wrote in a statement, "The world needs to know the United States fully stands with our friend and ally Israel, and that we are with them as they take the actions needed they deem necessary to eliminate the threat Hamas poses to innocent Israelis." And prosecutors say former Colts player Sergio Brown killed his mother, then bought a one-way ticket to Mexico. Brown appeared in court for a detention hearing yesterday. Prosecutors said Brown was the last person to see his mother, Myrtle Brown, on September 14th. They say Brown was seen burning fabric the night of her death, then flew to Cancun the next morning. Prosecutors say charges on his credit card suggest that he rented 2 homes in Colombia before his deportation back to the United States. The judge ordered him to stay detained until his next court date in November. The United Auto Workers are set to end their 41-day strike against Ford, the first of the big 3 automakers to reach a labor deal. The union says the agreement will pull 16,000 workers off picket lines at Ford and put them back to work. UAW President Shawn Fain says the contract includes a 25% pay increase between now and 2028. Ford had offered 9% when talks started.
It's an emotional time for me. I'm emotional. But just super excited that this is over with and just can't wait to get back to work.
From what I'm hearing, it sounds like great news for us all. So hopefully we'll be back to work Monday.
It is still a tentative deal. The agreement doesn't take effect until the union's 57,000 Ford members approve it. There's no sign yet of agreements with GM and Stellantis, but industry analysts say they are much more likely to happen now. The House of Representatives is back to work after selecting a new speaker. Every Republican united to elect Louisiana conservative Mike Johnson yesterday. He entered the speaker's office for the first time and now faces the looming threat of a government shutdown next month. Johnson is a vocal supporter of former President Donald Trump and a key congressional figure in the failed efforts to overturn the 2020 election. He promised to quickly move forward on conservative priorities. The House passed a resolution in support of Israel and its war against Hamas just after that election. And a judge fined former President Donald Trump $10,000 for violating the gag order in the civil fraud trial against him. It's Trump's second fine in less than a week over his comments out of court. The judge called Trump to the stand yesterday to testify about comments to reporters insulting his law clerk. The judge had already ordered everyone in the trial not to comment publicly about his staff. Trump and his lawyers insisted his comment yesterday was not about the clerk. They said he was referring to Michael Cohen, who had been testifying. Two bears are back at their homes after getting loose and injuring their owner in Putnam County. The sheriff's office there says the owner called 911 Tuesday afternoon. Deputies came prepared with tranquilizers, but say that the bears returned to their cage on their own. Police didn't release details about the owner's injuries, but did say she went to the hospital and is okay. Police say the bears are now in the care of a local exotic animal expert while the owner receives treatment. And as we close out October, let's talk month of May. Race fans can now buy tickets for the 108th running of the Indy 500. Tickets for other marquee events are also on sale. Brickyard 400, Carb Day, the Speedway Solar Eclipse event, lots more. To find out more about the event lineup and a link to buy tickets, just look for this story on wishtv.com. And to Clark County, where the Cheesecake Factory is set to build a bakery and distribution hub. The site is the River Ridge Commerce Center in Charlestown, off State Road 62 along the Ohio River. The company says it'll cost $74 million and create 200 jobs. The bakery could open sometime in 2025. A record-setting season opening win. Indiana poured in 143 points against the Washington Wizards, most ever for the Pacers, all the way back to the ABA days. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver got to see it all. He watched the game at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, which is hosting this season's NBA All-Star Game. Bruce Brown made a career-high 6 3-pointers in his Pacers debut. Next up, the Pacers play the Cavaliers Saturday, then host the Bulls Monday. And to business headlines, a majority of households say they feel behind on saving for emergencies, with only 19% of families reporting that they increased their emergency savings balances since the beginning of the year. A Bankrate survey found higher interest rates and inflation took a toll on Americans' saving accounts this year. Amazon is set to report its earnings for the third quarter after the closing bell today. Investors are eyeing the results of Amazon's Prime Big Deal Days event. Amazon's enjoyed a so far strong performance this year. Its stock is up nearly 50% from levels in January, partly fueled by Wall Street's excitement for AI. Retail beef prices in the U.S. are at record highs, pushing up prices of beef-based products from burgers to steaks. That's largely thanks to a shrinking cattle supply, as well as higher input costs. Market watchers told CNBC they don't expect it to ease anytime soon. Cattle herds in the U.S. have been reduced to their smallest number in decades as a result of prolonged drought in key cattle ranching states like Texas and Kansas. Taylor Swift may have impacted the entire nation's summer economy. Economic growth numbers are out today. The Taylor Swift effect could have an impact on gross domestic product. Forbes says Taylor Swift's Eras Tour was number one, pulling in nearly $800 million. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.